What's up everybody, Trinity here. Welcome back to the 2nd Street Marvel. It's New Comic Book Wednesday and here I am in my local comic book shop, Bases Cards and Comics, right here in Lancaster, California, to bring you all my comic book pull list and reviews for the week. There will be some time stamps down in the description of this video so you can skip ahead, and if I'm flapping my gums just a little bit too long on some of these books, or in case you just want to skip ahead to a particular book that you're looking forward to hearing me flap my gums about, or maybe you just want to hear more about it and not me flapping my gums. Now, also, before we get into all that, please make sure you subscribe, click the little bell and all of that good stuff. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it, give it a thumbs down if you don't. You're not gonna hurt my feelings. Also, make sure that you share it out with some friends and leave some comments down in the comments below as well. Getting into my comic book pull list for the week, starting right off here, this is EC Comics reprint of Gunfighter Volume 1. This collects issues 5 through 9. I absolutely love the EC Comics group and what they were doing. These books that are reprinted in here are the classic books that made the history of comic books. The creators that are in these books, you got Al Feldstein, Wally Wood, Johnny Craig, and all other kinds of greats that are within the pages of these books. As you can see, some of those names right here on this list. You get in here and these books are just so great, and I've been picking up a lot of these reprints that they have been doing because I really enjoy not only the stories in here but the art as well. I get in here and I read these books, I'm like, man, it's hard to think that these things are over 50 years old and they're still doing stuff in these books that long ago that I really don't see a lot of people really kind of touching in the same way, as far as like the writing styles and even a lot of the art styles. This retails for $49.99. This is a hardcover book and it's in the larger magazine size format. Absolutely great stuff. You have to pick these things up from your local comic book shop, and if you missed them, they actually have here in the back of them, they have a list of all the books and their their order numbers where you can go and check those out. Definitely recommend reading these, but let me know down in the comments below if you have ever read any of the OG EC Comics books and what you think about them down in the comments below. Now, the first book that I have here to talk about today is on Ablaze Publishing. You guys know I have been absolutely loving this series if you've been here and paying attention. This is the Cimmerian issue number 2 of the, what is this, the Black Dragon? Hour of the Dragon. I think the last one was the People of the Black Order, or I can't remember. But this series has been absolutely great. I have enjoyed the work that they have been doing here on the Cimmerian over at Ablaze Publishing. They are using the original Robert E. Howard scripts when writing these, and they put those in here as well, and I think that's something that's very cool, so you can kind of go look at the source material and see what they've got, kind of what they're adapting these stories from. This book in particular is definitely one of my favorite books that I have read this week, because the art in this book is very, very good, and the action and the writing going on in this particular issue really, I don't know, it really rung home for me. We're like, issue number 1 was, it was good, but this one right here, I was getting into this, I'm like, man, I was really digging the art in this book and the story as well. The story here is written by Julian Blondell and adapted from Robert E. Howard's original scripts, and the artist is Valentin Seacher, and lettered by Desi Cienti. I'll show you those names right there where you can take a little bit of a look at these. But yeah, this series has been absolutely great. The art in this particular book this week was great, and just very, very captivating in the story that's going on, as Conan is basically taken as a slave. He's been enslaved, and he is a king at this point of his own town and of his own territory, and he's having to fight back and escape. And along the way, he comes upon this gorilla. He gets into this crazy fight with this gorilla. Like, it's just a great book. Action-packed, plenty of dialogue. That's one of the things I like about this book, is like, it reminds me of some of those older books. You get into a lot of like the older comic books, and one issue takes you a little bit longer to read. Like I could read, probably 3 modern books compared to like one of the old school books. You get into like some of the older Marvel and even like some of those EC comic books I was talking about earlier. They take a little bit longer to read and digest. And there's just so much more to take in. And this issue of Hour of the Dragon, absolutely great. Definitely a recommend on the Cimmerian if you haven't already been reading it. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I want to know all your thoughts about the Cimmerian. And maybe you don't read the Cimmerian. Maybe you like Conan over at Marvel. It's kind of the same thing, but definitely not the same stories, right? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below, and we'll go ahead on and move on to this next book coming to us from Aftershock Comics. This one right here is The Oceans Will Take Us, issue number 1 from writer Rich Douek. And man, it's so great to have Rich Douek doing a book over on Aftershock Comics. He's a very good writer. Now, this book in particular right here was a very, I like this one. It's, you got this kid that moves into this new town, and of course things are a little bit weird, and it almost reminds you of the Karate Kid, right? Except for here, he's not playing soccer or any of that. It's a kid going out for the swimming team, and the swimming team is actually one of the best in the nation, and that's kind of what we're getting in this first story, as we see he's going to this new school and kind of getting to know the people on his team, his classmates, and also something mysterious going on in the bay there, in this story. Something in the water that's not quite right, and something going on in the sports program as well. But definitely issue number 1 of this was a very good setup. I like what Rich Douek does in his books, and this one is definitely got me in for issue number 2. The art on this is by Carlos Olivares. Manuel Pupo is the colorist, and Dave Sharp is the letterer. I'll show you those names right there where you can take a look at those, and then I will show you some of this art as well. And I do like a lot of this art in this book as well. I mean, I think it fits the tone of the story, and even like the I don't know, I guess kind of what they're representing here in the teenagers and everything. Like, you could see that in the characters, where some books you read, like a book that I'm going to talk about a little bit later here, you see some of the characters like, how old are these characters? In here, definitely a very good book. Great depictions in this along with the story. Definitely a recommend. Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below, and we'll go ahead and move on to this next book. Now, you guys know I really enjoy all of the books they have been doing on AWA Upshot ever since they launched a couple of years ago. I've had every single book on my pull list and have read every single one of them, and I've got them all in my collection, with the exception of like 2. Just like 2 single issues. This one right here, a new series, The Jonses, issue number 1, coming to us from writer Michael Morisi, with art from Alessandro Vitti and colors by Ive Sorvina. I'm sure I've probably messed that up. And this is once again another book from Michael Morisi, coming to us in the world, the shared universe of the Reborns. And in this particular issue, we catch up with a particular family that is dealing with Reborns in their community. As we can see, they are attending some community meetings and seeing what's going on in this small town, as the Reborns have, they've been having more and more incidents there in the town with regards to the Reborns. Now, of course, one thing that I definitely like, what they do in the AWA Upshot universe, and I know it's something a lot of people talk about in comic books, and that's politics in comic books, right? Well, in these stories, they're kind of really doing some parallels to the real world. I wouldn't say it's a parody. I would say, it's just kind of, you can see the similarities here, where you see this family here in this town, and like I said, the townspeople, they are there having this meeting, trying to figure out what's going on with the Reborns. It sounds, and just some of the dialogue going on here, very funny stuff as they're just commenting about different things in this book. But here we get this family who is dealing with getting these powers and trying to still fit into their community. And I really like Michael Morisi's writing, and again, the art in here from Alessandro Vitti, absolutely great. Go ahead and take a look at some of this art here as well. Now, one of the things I will say, I'll show you here in just a minute. The letterer is Sal Cipriano also, by the way. I'll show you a little bit more of this art here in this book. Now, the one thing that I want to say about this book is I seen somebody on Twitter was actually commenting about the cover of this book, and if you really zoom in and you know, like maybe not on here, but you look at this cover, you can see little things in here from like Shutterstock and stuff like that. But then if you look at the cover overall, there's a lot of things on here that look like they're cut and pasted from just different, you know, pictures and things like that. And to me, somebody's like, oh, is that a mistake? Like, I really feel like it was done on purpose, because I think the name, like the Jonses, is reminiscent of Keeping Up with the Jonses, and also the fact that they got all these things kind of cut out and pasted, like they're trying to fit in and make it look, you know, like, oh, hey, everything's all kosher here. And that's one of the things I took from this cover, but I could be wrong. Let me know what you think down in the comments below if you have read the Jonses and what you think about it. I say it's a recommend, but I would say that about any Michael Morisi book, because he is one of my favorite writers doing books today. But let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, I know you guys hear me talk a lot about not buying, doing cover buys and stuff like that, and you just seen me show off the Jonses, and I got 2 different covers, and yeah, I know. And it's not gonna be any different here with this next book coming to us from Boom Studios. This right here is Alice Ever After. This book right here has several different covers. I'm sure there's a lot of shop variants. I picked up this I think, what is this, cover 1 and then cover 5 here. Dan Panosian doing the writing on this book, and he actually did the art on this first cover as well. And of course I had to get that J. Scott Campbell cover. Can you say no to a J. Scott Campbell cover? I don't think you can. There might be a law against that, but I don't know, maybe that's just me. So this book right here, Dan Panosian doing the writing, it feels like I'm so used to seeing him do art that, you know, just seeing him saying that he's doing the writing here, it just seems a little weird. But this is written by Dan Panosian, created by Dan Panosian, colored, the art is by Giorgio Spalletta, and Dan Panosian, covered by Fabiana Mascolo, and lettered by Jeff Eckelberry. I'll show you those names right there. And you can get a little bit of a look at the art that you can expect in this book. And I will tell you, I think the art in this book is really good. Definitely fits the tone of the story, especially with the coloring and everything here as well. You can see some of that here. I'll show you some more of this art, where here we are seeing that Alice is no longer a little girl taking mushrooms and tripping and going down the rabbit hole. Now she is here, and it seems like she has a full-on habit, and somebody that is actually there to kind of help her support that habit, or providing the means for her to have that habit, and the things that she's willing to do to go support that habit. I thought this book was very good. I didn't know what to expect out of this. This wasn't one that was originally like on my pull list, but I seen when it got here at, you know, at the beginning of the week, I was like, this actually sounds like a very interesting book, and I want to see how this one is. I picked it up. I really enjoyed this book. Definitely a recommend if you're kind of into, I don't know, maybe taking a tale like Alice in Wonderland and putting a twist on it. Probably a drug-addled horror tale, maybe? I don't know. I guess we'll see where it goes. But I thought this book was absolutely good. Definitely a recommend. Let me know what you think about Alice Ever After, and if you have read it, down in the comments below. Now, you know, I always get sad when there's a series that comes along and I'm really enjoying it, and it's only like, you know, a short story mini series, and that is definitely something to be said about this series right here. This is Apache Delivery Service. This is issue number 4. This is on Dark Horse Comics, and this book is absolutely great. Written by Matt Kent, art by Tyler Jenkins, colored by Hillary Jenkins, and lettered by, I believe, Tyler Jenkins does the letters as well. And this story, man, has been really good. We're following this soldier who was, I want to say this was in Vietnam. And they're calling him Apache Delivery Service, and he's sitting there, he's like, I'm not even Apache, and like, everything's kind of going on. Then he ends up getting basically going AWOL and going out with this guy to try to find this treasure. They ended up coming upon the treasure, and it turns out there's kind of a curse on this treasure and people protecting this treasure as well. And it's been a very good journey, and I wasn't sure how they were going to wrap this thing up here in issue number 4. And this issue number 4, man, it starts right off with a real kind of, man, like a gut punch, man, with our main character here. Like the opening pages, like, oh man, like these opening couple pages, like some pretty messed up stuff that you see going on in this book. But overall, this book finishes up this week. I think this is definitely one worth checking out. You can see the art of Tyler and Hillary Jenkins in here. Definitely that very indie feel. But even in the art style that they do, you can feel the look, the attitude, and I guess the mood of the characters within this series. And like this book right here is kind of one of the epitomes of indie comic books, and one of the things I definitely like about reading indie comic books, where you get that kind of art where it's not like you can't say, like, I can't say it's not like the best art. It's not the best art, but like the art style fits this story so perfectly. And like I said, it's just sad to see a good series like this one coming to an end when I need more of this. And of course, Matt Kent, one of the better writers out there right now. Definitely worth checking this book out. But let me know down in the comments below if you have read Apache Delivery Service and what you think about it. Okay, now moving on into Image Comics this week, we've got Radiant Red issue number 2. This book is tying into the whole Radiant Black universe, or is it Massive Verse, or what? I don't know what they're calling it. It's one of those verses, right? It's verse. That's all that matters, right? And it goes either way. Anyway, this book, titled The Crucible, is written by Cherish Chen, artist David LaFuente, colorist Miguel Muerto, who does the art on, does the colors over on Something is Killing the Children, a great series, and lettered by Diego Sanchez. And there is a backup story in here as well. I'll show you those names, and you can see a little bit of the art right here in this book. Now, there is, looking at this cover, there was another cover that came out as well, where they have it, and I believe it was like on the back where you see where, you know, how it's labeled and numbered. It was actually numbered the same, but she didn't have the helmet on in this one. But anyway, in this book, we're following this young lady as she is going out trying to do better for her family, trying to provide for her family. Well, a family that's like really just her and her husband, and they're obviously having some issues in their relationship. A lot of them, you know, monetary, you know, money and finances can be a big burden. But we got a little bit of that in issue number 1, and when we first got introduced to this character, and in here we get a little bit more of an expansion on that story as we see that she is kind of lured into this trap, only to be offered a deal that might help her maybe conceal her identity a little bit better. But of course, that don't come without a little bit of conflict as well. Altogether, I have really been enjoying what's been going on in the Radiant Black universe. This particular issue, like, I don't know, like, where, like, I've enjoyed these, but I'm not sure if, like, it's something I want to keep pulling. I believe this one's a mini-series. Rogue Sun is out there also. I can't remember if that one's a mini-series. Like, I don't know. Like, it's getting a little bit big and involved, but I like the fact that they are doing these stories and kind of slowly building out this universe here. Definitely a recommend if you're into reading, you know, the Radiant Black series and this Radiant Red. But let me know what you think down in the comments below if you've been reading Radiant Black, Radiant Red, and what you think about it. I want to know all your thoughts down in the comments below. Okay, now moving on into the last book that I have for the week. This one is on Vault Comics. This is West of Sundown, issue number 1, and this right here, this book has very many covers that came out this week. I picked up a couple of them. This one right here is the main cover right here. Right here, they got, like I said, they got a bunch of good ones. This one's Jim Terry. Oh yeah, Jim Terry is on this one. This is the third variant. This is the Tim Seeley cover right here. There's Tim Seeley and I believe Triona Farrell. And then I did end up picking up this Thank You variant I believe this one, I'm not sure which cover number this is, but I picked this one up as well. This is one that they sent out, one per store, to the shops. And I did also manage to pick up this one right here. You guys know I was looking for this one right here. The Skylar Patridge variant right here as well. Absolutely beautiful. Great stuff. You guys know that I love my Vault comic books, and you know, they're one of the ones that I go out there and get a lot of the comic book covers for. They got a lot of good ones. What can I say? Getting into West of Sundown, I'm not really into vampires and zombies or anything like that, and this book is definitely focused vampire based, if you will. This book is being written by Tim Seeley and Aaron Campbell, drawn by Jim Terry and colored by Triona Farrell, lettered by Crank. I'll show you those names right there. You can take a look at those. Now, this book, as I said, I'm not really into vampires or anything like that, but here, that's exactly what we're getting in here, where we see that there is this guy out on this, it looks like they're possibly at a battlefield, where he is digging some graves, and he ends up getting the little bell rung from somebody, basically signaling that somebody is alive in this grave. And he goes and digs up this grave, and up comes this woman, comes back to life. And this is Constance Bend. Who that is, I don't really know. But it looks like when we get in here, it turns out she is an opera singer. And you can see here when she goes out to do one of her shows. So she is there, and the story starts off with us in Manassas, Virginia. And then we move in a little bit later in the story, 10 years later, to where she's in New York, where she is this opera singer. Well, things end up kind of going awry. Her house ends up being burnt to the ground, and in that she ends up getting injured and has to go back to her, basically where she was born, to get some more sacred land so she can heal herself. And that's kind of where the plot really thickens in this book. Altogether, I gotta say, I really enjoyed this book, and as I said, I'm not big into vampires, zombies, werewolves, any of that kinds of stuff, and just like magic. I guess that's really bad. Zombies, vampires, that's pretty much bad. And magic, I'm not really into a lot of that. But when it comes to Vault Comics, these guys are just so damn good at what they do with the titles they're putting out, the quality of the books, and just a lot of those things that they get me just about every time. They make a liar out of me nearly every book. Like, oh, I'm not into vampires. Vampire book I'm going to be reading. But I don't know. That's just if you ask me. But let me know what you think about West of Sundown down in the comments below. And if you picked up any of the great variants that they had out there. There was plenty of others out there that were really awesome that I've seen on previews that I didn't get. Before we end this video, let me know down in the comments below what's on your comic book pull list this week, and what of your books was your favorite read this week. I think for me, my read of the week this week was the Cimmerian. I think that book was absolutely great this week. But let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below, and what was on your comic book pull list. That's all I've got for this video today, folks. Thank you all so much for being here on the 2nd Street Marvel for my new comic book day reviews. If you're not already, please make sure you subscribe, click the little bell and all of that good stuff. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it, give it a thumbs down if you don't. It's okay, you're not gonna hurt my feelings. But while you're at it, make sure that you share it out with a friend, and tell them to come hang out with us here on the 2nd Street Marvel, where we like to talk about comic books, especially indie comic books like West of Sundown, and we also talk a little bit about some movies as well. We're currently doing a series with my man Chillmonger, where we are getting together every Wednesday morning and talking, having a little spoiler discussion about the Moon Knight series. If you are keeping up with that, make sure that you tune in for that as well. But you all have a very good day, and we'll see you in the next video. Later.